Hello there. This is something new. I've got Mark giggling all ready for the Acton Rundown.
Yes.
Those are the galloping of horses. We are just through 4th of July weekend. America is 249 years old.
Still looking good.
Those horses are the horses of the revolution from the past. Still going, still coming, still going strong. Human liberty is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of strong, what is in your coffee?
Fired up. Red Wings. Tigers had a great weekend.
It's great.
But what we're talking about today is basically we're going to start with what we were doing the end of last month, which is the busiest month
by far
at Acton, but especially for Mark and I.
Totally.
I'm Dan Huger, librarian and research associate at the Acton Institute. This is Mark Townsend. Mark is the podcast producer and media impresario at Acton. This is the new title.
I like it. I'll take it.
Media impresario. We had a very busy week at Acton University the last week of June.
We did. We locked ourselves in a closet for 4 straight days and recorded a dozen interviews.
Yeah.
Or 10 and then a couple of lectures, too, that will all make their way onto the podcast airwaves in the next couple of months.
It was a lot of fun. It was very scary the first day when the room was very, very hot. But we got that room cooled down. And so we'll see if the careful watchers can tell which was the hot day in the studio by Dan's perspiration. But the interviews went exceedingly well.
We did.
Really, really happy.
There's so many of them that are really cool. My personal favorite is one that we actually put out last week with Marcel Van Hatten, who's a Brazilian politician and political scientist. I thought it was your best interview of the whole week and was just exceptionally interesting about why Brazil matters in general and to America, and some similarities and key differences between it. It was a phenomenal and fascinating interview that I would encourage everybody to go take a look at.
Marcel is a brilliant guy. Marcel is also like a very dedicated to the future of Brazil. And it was great to hear him share what was going on in Brazil and his own story and sort of what the stakes are for him. Because threats to freedom of speech, freedom of the press, they're very real in Brazil today. And Marcel did a great job sort of, for an American audience that wants to be brought up to speed on that, Marcel did an excellent job.
And it started with the context of what should we know about Brazil as Americans? More than just there's beaches. What should we actually know about it? And then from there we dove into the broader issues of Brazil and then the smaller issues that he's facing too, which was very, very interesting.
It was great. It was absolutely great.
He's a very interesting guy. And you know what else I learned about him from Instagram this weekend? He went to the final Black Sabbath concert. Yeah, which I thought, Back to the Beginning, which I thought was phenomenal. And I'm a little jealous that we talked to him before that because I wanted to hear about that.
We also interviewed Brad Berzer, who co-wrote a book with Neil Peart.
Yes,
and Mark,
Cultural Repercussions.
Mark got very excited about that.
I did.
And we talked a little before the interview with Brad about that.
Yeah.
So there was a musical element to all of this. We did a lot of recording of individual lectures that are going to get up on Acton On Demand.
Yeah, those are going on demand. They'll probably be there in about a week. So what's today? Today is the 7th. They'll probably be there by the 14th. You can go to ondemand.acton.org and you can have to give an email at the moment. It's free though, and you can just go to the Acton University 2025 category and just binge almost everything that took place at Acton University. There's phenomenal interviews with all of our people and a lot of really cool special guests.
So Mark, Daniel, Doug, all of our media team here, everybody at Acton works really hard at Acton University, but most of us the next week, it's like people take vacations, this sort of thing.
Not in the basement of the building. Not
in the basement of the building. The media team is working hard, getting all of this ready for listeners like you.
Yeah. So feel free, ondemand.acton.org, and then while you're there, you can find all of the video Acton Line podcasts. There's a category for them. You can find past conferences and pretty much every recorded event we've done in Acton's history, going back a shockingly long distance.
Yeah. But Acton Rundown is not merely about the past, Mark.
No, it's about the future, Dan.
It's about the future. Let's travel there right now. July 17th, later this month, David Michael Phelps, president of Harmel Academy of Trades, is giving an evening lecture, The Meaning of Work, What Skilled Trades Can Teach About the Forming of Workers of Character. Harmel is a really, really interesting school. This is something of a synthesis between like a trade school and a classical liberal arts education. It's Catholic.
Cool.
It's an amazing school.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. I don't know anything about it.
Oh yeah. And David Michael Phelps I've known David for years. He'll be great. We're going to be live streaming that.
Yeah, you can see that on Acton's Facebook page or YouTube. It'll be uploaded to Acton On Demand later on. You can also attend in person. If you're in West Michigan, you can go to acton.org/events and register for it. It's $20 for a general ticket, $15 if you're a student. There's the famous Acton charcuterie boards and drinks and whatnot, and it'll be a great time to meet people and network and then hear a good lecture. So,
they are famous. People ask, where do you get these?
it's true.
Now, one of the great things, Harmel a couple years ago received actually one of our mini grants on free market economics, research and teaching to develop a new sort of curriculum around a local business they acquired and that students are helping operate. It's an amazing story, and look forward to hearing from David all about what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. And the lecture itself is on leadership in the future of work, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, cool. That'll be great. That's very apt for nowadays.
Gonna be very good. So there's future events coming down the pipe. We have coming up in October, we're going to have our annual dinner.
Yeah.
We want people to keep an eye out for that. We'll let you know when registration gets up and live there. We'll also have Kristen Anderson Burkhog, who is the Novak Award winner, the 2025 Novak Award winner, will be doing a lecture at Hope College as part of the sort of Callahan lecture for that. She'll also be doing a lecture in November here in town in Grand Rapids. So we'll keep you posted on those. Those will be great.
Yeah. We also, we're talking about Acton University. Registration for Acton University 2026 is not opened yet, but we do know it'll be June 22nd through 25th of 2026. So mark your calendars and wait for a registration link for that.
Good dates for Acton University to keep that calendar free.
Totally.
Mark, next to you, you have our latest issue of Religion and Liberty.
I do.
This came out just before Acton University. Subscribers have probably already received it in their mailboxes.
Yeah.
You can catch these at Barnes & Noble. I have seen them at the local Grand Rapids Barnes & Noble. They get pretty good placement.
Yeah. The cover story is the gospel according to Silicon Valley. We did a podcast on that a couple of weeks ago, which you can go listen to with Dan Churchwell and Trevor Sutton.
Yep. And that is up on the website.
Yeah.
That issue, we sort of roll out every so often early in the week. We'll post something new from that issue. So keep an eye on the website for that.
Yeah.
We'll also have two sort of upcoming interviews that we recorded at AU that draw explicitly from this edition of the magazine. One is with Kevin Vallier on his article here, The Fusionist Manifesto. The other R&L essay that we have a conversation about from this issue is going to be with Sam Gregg, talking about Michael Novak.
Yes, he does an impression of him.
There is a great Michael Novak impression. Be sure to listen.
Yeah. That'll be out probably next month sometime on the podcast, the interview we did with him. But otherwise, the Gospel According to Silicon Valley, that is out now. We put that out 2 weeks ago.
Yep. So looking forward to the podcast now.
Yes.
As we wrap up this podcast. We've got a sort of tentative release schedule.
Like I said, the interview with Marcel Van Hatten is out now. That's a great one to hear. This Wednesday, we have David Bahnsen, kind of on the current state of the economy, kind of our annual Acton University report from him, which is great. We talk a lot about, or rather you and him talk a lot about housing, and we got into some AI stuff, and then just the broader economy. And it's always good to get a better understanding from somebody who really understands. So
talked a little bit about the big, beautiful bill, all that stuff going on.
Yeah, and then after that, we got our good friend Eric Cohn, former Acton Director of Marketing Communications. He is now the CEO of America's Future.
Take your complaints to Eric if you have problems with America.
It's the greatest title I think I've ever heard, CEO of America's Future. Mm-hmm. So that's an organization. We did not appoint him in our government, though I would be cool if we did.
We'll be talking a little bit about their mission, what they do to make America's future brighter.
Totally. Yeah, and then after that, we got we were saying Kevin Valier is up after that, talking about fusionism. So it's
it'll be very good.
Murderer's row of podcasts.
So when we were originally scheduling these with different folks who were lecturing at Acton University, I wanted to talk to Samuel Gregg about Michael Novak, and we did. But Michael Novak also ended up coming up a lot in my conversation with Kevin, which was something that I was not expecting going in, but super delighted.
Sure.
And it was great to talk more about Michael Novak with Kevin.
Yeah. That's great. And then for all other Acton media, go to ondemand.acton.org, subscribe to our YouTube channel. More stuff is uploaded regularly. And then otherwise, subscribe to this podcast and stay tuned for future events. We'll be back the first Monday of August, with more events of what's coming. Hopefully we'll have more registration links and stuff like that for events and ways you can be involved.
Mark, should we run it out?
Whatever you say, Dan.
I'm going to run it out.
You're going to run it out? All right. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to learn more about Acton or hear more of this podcast, please visit acton.org/podcasts.